Politics and geopolitics news. U.S. State Department, Iran must cooperate fully and without further delay. India expects to reach an agreement with the US on tariffs within 1 to 2 days, News 18 TV channel citing government sources. Iran will consider negotiations with European countries useless if they continue to demand Tehran give up its inalienable right to develop a peaceful nuclear program. Islamic Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. July 7, U.S. and Indonesia to sign trade and investment agreements totaling $34 billion, Bloomberg. Bangladesh has drafted a trade agreement with the US amid threat of duties, Minister. Iran has no plans to stop enriching uranium. Iran will not take further retaliatory measures against the US. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister, NBC. Financial and stock market news. Microsoft wants to reduce reliance on Nvidia, The Information. Vietnam to buy 50 Boeing planes as part of trade deal with US. Politico. Third season of the Squid Game series broke viewing records on Netflix, company. Compound, Global CBS, who's doing what with rates at the moment. Poland's central bank was the last to cut rate. Australia, June, services PMI equals 51.8. Composite PMI equals 51.6. Japan, June. Services PMI equals 51.7. Composite PMI equals 51.5. China, June. Caixin Services PMI equals 50.6. Caixin Composite PMI equals 51.3. US waives export license requirements for chip design software sales to China as part of trade deal, Bloomberg. Siemens says the US has authorized the resumption of chip software sales to China. 65% of global central bank reserve managers believe the Fed's independence is under threat. 47% see the risk of the rule of law deteriorating enough to affect asset allocation. 29% of reserve managers have or plan to reduce investments in U.S. assets. Gold, euro, yuan are expected to be beneficiaries of this trend. 39% plan to increase the gold reserves they hold domestically, up from 15% in 2024. Xiaomi will consider starting official car sales outside China from 2027, CEO. Switzerland, CPI consumer inflation, June. MOM equals plus 0.2%. YOY equals plus 0.1%. The Swiss Central Bank recently lowered the rate to zero and does not rule out moving to negative rates again. Turkey, CPI consumer inflation, June. MOM equals plus 1.37%. YOY equals plus 35%. Eurozone, June. Composite PMI equals 50.6. Services PMI equals 50.5. Minister Finance Scott Bessent said the Fed could cut interest rates by September or even sooner if Trump's tariffs continue to have little impact on inflation. Recall that the next meeting will be held on the 30th of July 2025, at which there is a 90% chance rates will not be cut, and there will be no meeting in August. And it turns out that the first cut may not happen until September. Nevertheless, Trump and his team continue to press Powell, who wants more data and to make sure that inflation is really slowing down. Britain, June. Composite PMI equals 52. Services PMI equals 52.8. China, auto retail sales, June, equals plus 5%. MOM equals plus 15% YOY. China, new energy vehicle, NEV, retail sales, June, equals plus 25% YOY. Preliminary car data. Foreign investors buy Japanese stocks for 13 straight weeks equals longest buying streak since 2013, Bloomberg. Tesla, German sales in June equals minus 60% YOY, Car Association. US. Non-farm payrolls, June, equals 147K. US. Unemployment, June, equals 4.1%. US. Trade balance, May, equals minus $71.5 billion. U.S. Initial jobless claims equals 233K. U.S. June S&P Composite PMI equals 52.9. S&P Services PMI equals 52.9. U.S. ISM Services PMI, June, equals 50.8. U.S. Factory orders, May, equals plus 8.2% MOM. U.S. Gas, EIA requests equals plus 55 BCF. Night, strong jobs report will deter the Fed from an early rate cut. The 10-year bond yield rose to 4.36% after the June unemployment report came in below expectations. While the unemployment rate was expected to rise to 4.3%, it instead fell to 4.1%. Falling unemployment and rising bond yields is a signal to Powell not to lower rates on July 30, which means the first cut is likely to come in September. OPEC Plus discuss 411,000 barrel per week increase in supply in August, Reuters. BRICS sets up guarantee fund to attract investment, Reuters. Crypto World News. BTC aggregate balance on exchanges continues to update multi-year lows, Glassnode data. Ripple also wanted a banking license in the US. Wall Street Journal. CryptoRank, top -10 projects by growth in locked-in value, TVL, in June. The REX shares stacked SOL ETF debuted with $33 million in trading volume, above the average trading volume of the SOL and XRP futures ETFs and above the average debut volumes of other ETFs in general, but lower than the debut trading volumes of the spot BTC and ETH ETFs. Ticker SSK. Head of the world's largest public miner Mara, BTC is now seeing huge demand from both institutions and corporates. Switzerland's Amina Bank has become the first world-class bank to offer services with the Ripple Rust stablecoin. UK-based Coincilium Group, through its Forza subsidiary, is starting to buy BTC for its balance sheet. Gold miner Hamak Gold Limited will issue additional shares, use part of the raised funds to buy BTC on its balance sheet. Chinese giants JDCOM and Alibaba are lobbying the Chinese central bank to approve yuan-based stablecoins in an effort to counter the global proliferation of dollar-based stablecoins, Cointelegraph. Crypto exchange Gate also launches tokenized stock trading. Bitwise launched NearEth with staking in Europe. Robinhood CEO says OpenAI and SpaceX tokenized shares are derivatives, not stocks. Europe's largest asset manager Amundi, US. Policy on stablecoins could destabilize the global payment system. Tether and Adecoagro will mine in Brazil. President Trump's executive director of digital assets, Bo Hines, crypto industry size could reach $15 to $20 trillion after the passage of the Stablecoin Act. Global M2 liquidity has reached a new all-time high. If Bitcoin continues to follow M2, it could rise to $175,000. Bitcoin is up $110,000. It's only $2,000 away from a new app. Ondu and Pantera Capital fork out $250 million to tokenize real assets, Axios.